We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the common everyday person, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our 35 million radio audience listeners to an hour of insightful technology with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm, and welcome to our shows. We live streamed during our show at the 4 most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, and Facebook. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us on techtimeradio.com or tweet us at hashtag TechTimeRadio during the show, and we'll do our best to respond to each of those items. I'm a technologist with over 30 years of expertise working for companies from Microsoft and Vulkan, a keynote speaker on technology subjects from security to blockchain and everything in between. My co-host here, Mike Gorday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. He is a human behavior expert, living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in foreign psychology in 20-plus years, helping others understanding human behavior so they can make better decisions.
Forensic psychology.
Forensics? Did I say forensic?
You said foreign psychology.
Forensic psychology. Okay.
although being a master's in foreign psychology, is that actually a deal also? No, but I'm going to make it a thing.
Okay, so you can also be a foreign and forensics?
That's right. I'm going to be a foreign psychologist.
Okay, Mike keeps me from geeking out while providing an insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We're two friends that come from a different background but bring the best technology show possible each and every week for our family and friends to enjoy. All right, welcome everyone now. Let's get ready to start our show.
Now on today's show.
Today on the show, Texas is suing Meta's Facebook over facial recognition practices. We have an NFL team that was hacked by a cyber gang and an exciting story about 2 different Martys. Then what's going on the superhero madness? We have essentially a superhero story that's going to make you go,
It's going to make you go, huh?
Yes, that's right. Next, we also have a crazy announcement about that superhero show. We have our technology insider, where I am going to spend time today explaining why your host is using Bing instead of Google for his search tool, along with some reasons why I have switched.
What?
Well, you can't give it away. You can't give it away. That's in our segment. All right. Then we also, of course, have our This Week in Technology, Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, and our Pick of the Day, Whiskey Tasting. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now it's time to start our show with our loaded question of the week, brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberry-boost.com. Mike and Odie, here is the loaded question for you. If you could pack your own lunch every day, what would you pack?
I can pack my lunch every day.
Okay. And what would you pack?
I would pack Oh, I don't know.
Like a sandwich?
Bologna and cheese sandwiches.
Okay, do you like bologna? An Oscar Mayer bologna?
Sure.
In the round container?
You remember that when I was a kid?
Yeah, Oscar. I used to have. Yeah, I did not have a lot of money, and I had an Oscar
fried bologna, baby.
Oh, I didn't have a fried bologna. My mom would just slap it down there with some Miracle Whip and a little bit of mustard, and that was breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That was your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
It was. I grew up with OSCER. Isn't that Oscar Mayer has a way? With BOLOGNA, right?
That's right.
Okay, there you go. Odie, you're up next.
I'd probably go with a ham and cheese sandwich cut into triangles.
Oh, and look at that.
Is that important?
You know, she's way ahead of you.
Well, yeah, if it's cut in half, it's not like legit.
Okay.
So if it's cut,
you can do that with a bologna sandwich.
Well, but a ham and cheese, okay. Mine would be a tuna melt. I just love.
We know why.
I love tuna melts. Why are you saying that?
Because you lived on tuna melts when you worked at Microsoft.
I did. I love tuna melts. Was like the cheapest lunch sandwich you could get with fries, and so
we're going to talk more about your cheapest.
My frugalness. No, not cheap. I call it very frugal. I'm
Is
very
that what
frugal.
you call it?
Yeah, I'm very frugal.
Very frugal.
Yeah, I'm a Scrooge McDuck. I'm very frugal. You know, if Scrooge McDuck saw a dime on the sidewalk,
pincher?
he would pick it up and he'd put it in his vault. So then he would. I don't get Scrooge McDuck. Then he would dive into his vault with money. How could you dive into coins? Only in animation can you do that, huh?
Unless you're Family Guy.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't you see Family Guy where he did that?
Isn't that animation, though?
That is animation.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I pulled a Nathan just now.
There you go. Animation. Wow,
animation.
That's a big, powerful word. All right. Well, as always, Mike, we have our whiskey tasting during the commercials where we're going to select our whiskey. It'll either get 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up on our pick of the day. Make sure you listen all the way through to pick some interesting facts that we're going to be talking about with our whiskey and see if you wanted to purchase it at home yourself also. All right. Now, on to the first segment, bringing you the top technology stories everyone will be talking about for weeks to come within the first 5 minutes of the show.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, welcome to the top story in the first 5 minutes. Story number 1, Texas sues Meta's Facebook over facial recognition practices.
Another one.
All right, let's listen to U.S. News and World Report on this breaking article.
The Texas Attorney General's office sued Facebook parent company Meta on Monday, alleging Facebook violated state privacy protections with facial recognition technology that collected biometric data from millions of Texans without their consent. The lawsuit accuses Facebook of collecting the data from users' photos and videos, disclosing the information to others, and failing to destroy it within a reasonable time. Asked about the lawsuit, a Meta spokesperson said the claims were without merits and said Facebook would defend itself vigorously.
It was without merits. Does that surprise you that Facebook said that?
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
They always say that, don't they? So let me ask you
this.
this.
Is this stuff in the end user agreement when you look at that stuff? Have you looked at Facebook's?
I have not looked at it. So when I signed up for Facebook such a long time ago, I'm sure that they didn't have some of these type of stuffs in there, but they give those like updates where they ask you to click on stuff. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I click on them, sometimes I don't. I think this lawsuit probably has something to do with the lawsuit that was essentially put out by Illinois state lawsuit, where essentially Meta agreed to pay $650 million in 2020 to settle this. Do you think that Texas is maybe piggybacking on Illinois' lawsuit that they won?
I don't know. It's possible.
I think that's what my guess is.
Facebook or Meta keeps getting in trouble with all these data collection things they're doing.
And they do a lot of them.
They do a lot of it. And that's what powers the whole Meta empire is your data.
That makes sense. So there you go. The scope of Facebook's misconduct is staggering, they said. We'll see what happens, and I'm sure this will be a long, drawn-out battle, and I'm sure we'll come back to this story at least 2 or 3 more times as different things take care of it, or other states decide to join.
That's 2 states down.
What's that? That's 2 states, yeah.
I know.
There's 50 states in the United States, so I guess there's 48 ready to go, right?
But they're getting sued by the European Union and,
So what is Africa? I never ever hear Africa suing people. Have you ever heard of Africa suing people?
Not really.
No. So I'm waiting for that lawsuit where all of a sudden you got South Africa suing Facebook for something like that. That would be okay. Never mind.
See.
All right. Story number 2, Mike. I think that's yours.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Roblox platform?
I am not.
Okay, so the Roblox platform is a huge sprawling world of games for kids.
Is it kind of like Minecraft?
It is sort of a kind of a mix between Lego and Minecraft.
Okay, so I know the Lego games and the Minecraft games.
Yeah, it's very simple, basic 8-bit type of technology, and my son used to play this.
Okay.
They have a problem though.
Uh-oh, what's that?
They are getting into trouble with people getting on the platform for sexual activity.
Uh-oh. Is it a teenage platform, kid platform? It's a kid platform, right?
The platform is for kids mostly from 13 and under.
Okay, 13 and under.
But anybody can do it. I mean, that's the issue.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. But understandably, technically, everybody has the same problems. The difference here is this is primarily a children's marketing game system. So, or a platform. It's basically a primitive metaverse.
Okay.
Like I think there was like My Life. Is that one of them?
Yeah, they used to have that. I think it was My Life 2 or something like that too, where they came on out and you could pretend to be your alter ego self type of deal. I know that there's a couple ones for. I think there's a DC type deal and a Star Trek type of deal where this world where you can kind of just play there as a different person.
Yeah, so in 2020, Roblox told Bloomberg that 2/3 of all U.S. children between the ages of 9 and 12 use the game. Roblox users are allowed to create and play games together, and this is where this problem occurs. It's a way to connect in real time with other people in the digital world. Unfortunately, because this is how the internet works.
Yeah.
People are using platforms or small areas called condos in order to engage in sexually driven types of devices.
Okay. So this is not a primary part of the game itself?
It is not. It's something that you have to search for.
Okay.
But they happen a lot, and they are basically shut down as soon as they are found.
They're found.
Yeah,
okay.
So they have. I guess they have physical security devices and online security devices that look for these types of things and shut them down. But it still means that this is happening.
Okay.
And they say it takes off in less than an hour, but a lot of stuff can happen in that span of time.
So are the adults getting on and kind of ruining the children experience? Is that what's happening?
Well, it could be adults. It could also be preteens that are exploring sexuality.
Okay.
Who knows? In any situation where you have children gathering, you're going to have persons that have an addiction to that kind of thing.
That makes sense. Yep.
So
we would have to monitor stuff for our kids when they were growing up too, and they'd play games, and my wife would have to come on in, and we'd watch what's going on in the background. We had like this little fantasy sword game that was supposed to be kind of like a religious type of, you'll be safe to play in it type of deal, and we were like, oh, this is great, and then all of a sudden it got bought out by somebody, and there was a bunch of people killing people, and so it caused a problem.
This is very typical. I mean, Roblox isn't the only place that.
But that's the one that's getting hit right now pretty aggressively.
That's the one that appeared in this article.
Okay.
So, what are you going to do?
As a psychologist, how do you make sure you monitor your kids from playing in that type of an environment?
Again, Roblox has parental controls.
Okay.
And unfortunately, all these things are pretty difficult to navigate when you don't know quite what is going on. So you have to learn how the parental controls work.
Okay.
You also have to be a little bit more mindful of how they are engaging in things. And so you can do several things electronically as well as physically.
Yep.
Like I used to have my sons, anytime they were playing online games, they had to play it in the living room. They were not allowed to play in their room.
In their room, yep. We had the same thing. Our kids weren't allowed to have televisions in their room. So if they wanted to do something, they had to come down, and their computers were in this open space area.
Right.
And so if they're doing anything really bad, we'd hear it, and it can drop in on them.
Yeah. So I mean, this is all part of the internet. The internet, gives us a lot of behaviors that we don't see in regular life because there's always this anonymity to it.
That makes sense.
And when you have anonymity, you have less inhibitions in doing things that you would not normally do. Plus, we also have a system that not only allows but encourages bad behavior.
So I was over at a friend's house just this last week, and they said, well, what can I do? Can you sit on down here and set up all these parental controls on our iPad, on our iPhone, and make sure that this their daughter didn't do anything that was too troublesome? And I said, well, let me ask you a couple things here. Yeah, we can set up all those parental controls, but have you had that conversation and just explaining what your daughter should be doing or not doing? And they look at me with a stared face.
But
they were like, what do you mean by that? I'm
yeah,
like,
you have to have conversations.
Have you just said that if you're going to be on the iPad, you need to be in a general area? And so literally they were like, okay, well, we won't set up these parental controls. I guess it's so difficult. But and they were like mad at me. And I was just like,
that's because you're the messenger.
I was just like basic parenting 101. I'm like, come on, it's not a technology issue. It's just you having a communication issue with your child about what they should do and what they shouldn't do.
That's part of it. That is a piece. And, like some kids are a little more savvy than their parents, so you can set up the parental controls all you want, but they have ways of getting around them.
That's why if you're just up in the open and you know what they're doing, it's easier.
They still get away with
stuff. They do.
They're going to get away with stuff
if they want to.
So, and you have to balance out their trust of giving them that ability to explore without overbearing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The thing.
All right, well, we better not become just a psychology show. There you go. We're going to have to move on to our next story.
Just because you really want to talk about
the San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco
yes,
49ers.
I do. All right, here we go. Story number 3. San Francisco 49ers were hacked by ransomware group. The incident comes just a few weeks after the team's close loss in the NFC Finals to the Super Bowl champ LA Rams. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
Nope.
All right, it was a great game.
Yep.
This kind of comes down to the San Francisco 49ers have become victims of a ransomware attack, according to CNN, with the alleged hackers claiming to have stolen financial data about the NFL team. Now, of course, the 49er organization immediately comes out and says that they do not think there's any issues with any of the ticket database or any of the credit cards of purchase, which probably makes sense.
Everybody says.
Well, that probably makes sense because I don't know if there's probably 2 networks, right? There's your internal network to run the organization, and then there's probably Ticketmaster's network and everything for the tickets.
That's also just a byline for everybody.
It is a byline.
That gets hacked. Oh, no, we didn't get any customer information out there. They just got into this area, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's very interesting because essentially the cyber attack stole internal information, claiming to have information regarding playbooks, player information, other team information. So that'd be interesting. Just think of this as the Patriots. If this is the Patriots, we'd be all over. We'd think Bill Belichick did it himself. But no, so essentially they were hacked. Yeah. All that information gets out, and now all of a sudden they lose to the Rams. Could the breach that was going on in the internal aspect of the 49ers caused the coaching staff and all of the front office staff to not focus on the Rams game and focus on getting all of their security breach, which essentially caused them to lose to the Rams
there.
And therefore the Rams wouldn't have won the Super Bowl, and the 49ers right now could be Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a lot of speculating there, Mr. Mumm.
All right. Story number 4.
Maybe we should get out of the whole make this not about the Super Bowl.
Well, okay.
And move on to the next story.
Okay. Story number 4. Tech bug keeps Mazda radios locked into NPR. This is hilarious, right?
Yeah, this is hilarious.
A national public radio network has become the must-listen-to station for Mazda drivers in Washington State. That's where we're broadcasting out of. As a tech bug means that they were unable to retune their radios. Owners of 2014 to 2017 Mazdas in the Puget Sound areas reported that their infotainment system was permanently locked into listening to NPR.
That's a little funny.
Missing file extensions and album images sent its digital radio broadcast reportedly triggered the glitch. To fix, according to Mazda, requires the replacement of an actual component on the radio infotainment system itself. Scott Smith, a driver in Seattle, told that his network on-screen menu would not stop cycling through options and kept on turning back to NPR and he could not do anything else. He could not change the station. He could not use the navigation. He could not use Bluetooth, but he could listen to NPR radio.
Well, if you like NPR, that's a good glitch.
I guess it is. Seattle Mazda dealerships have been flooded with calls to have their cars updated.
That's interesting that it's just specific to Mazdas.
So it was a Mazda during that area. There was graphics. You know, sometimes they send you the graphics now they send data for your radio station. It tells you like the station, sometimes the song that's there, sometimes the album, whatever the album clip art somehow triggered a bug that said, bing, if you're listening to this, we're going to tune everything to NPR radio station. There you go. All right.
I wonder if that's a glitch.
It's a glitch?
Or a presupposed glitch.
You know,
somebody
if you're that radio station, you're selling ad time out of the window, saying, look at how many radio listeners we have right now. That's right.
Right.
All right. Well, Mike, our time is up. We've got through the top stories. If you want to learn more about these, please visit us online at techtimeradio.com and click on our episode section or blog to get more details on the stories and features. Now it's time for us to get ready for our whiskey tasting at the break. But up next, I'm going to explain to you why I switched from Google to Bing as my search engine. We're going to come up with 4 reasons why I did that. Will my reasons make you switch? We're going to be talking about that after the break. We got Mike Gorday here, Odie, and of course myself, Nathan. We'll see you after this.
Hey, Mike.
What?
Have you heard of elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost.
You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size. That's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry. That's ELDERBERRY-boost.com and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
All right. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time Radio is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by, of course, myself and Mike Gorday. We just had our first whiskey tasting, and this is for the Bird Dog Peach Whiskey. 80 proof, $22. It is an incredible infusion. I'm reading this off of
the
I know.
Site. Yeah.
An incredible infusion of peach flavor and warm whiskey, creating a juicy, savory spirit with a delicious fragrance. Enjoy the smooth and easy to drink whiskey with simply on the rocks or with a splash of sweet or iced tea. You need a lot of iced tea. Let me just tell you, if you're going to be tasting this, you need a lot of iced tea. You need a lot of other flavoring, and you need a little bit more whiskey.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Is that your? Well, I'm just saying that was a hit that it's going to keep on coming after later and later and later. Here's the intro from Mike from Mark's Mumbles. Mark's Mumbles. Here's what he says. Mark Gregoire says in 2010, Bird Dog pioneered the flavor whiskey category. Since that time, Bird Dog has unfolded the trailblazing the space after year with 14 different flavors. The official fruit of the South is making a statement in the Bird Dog peach-flavored whiskey. It doesn't get more southern than making a southern peach tea in front porch with a little bit of a refreshener with a kick. All right. Now, this is what he says. It's 80 proof, 40% alcohol by volume, which is essentially then is a whiskey.
That's a whiskey.
Last week's stuff said whiskey, but it wasn't because it was under 80 proof.
No, you thought it was a whiskey, but
that's because I read
a liqueur.
It was a liqueur. That's correct. $22. Western Spirits Beverage Company is who's the owner and produces this. It's from Kentucky, United States. On behind the scenes, once again, they're trying to compete with Crown Royal Peach, is what Mark says, and I got some more stuff after we taste it. So it is trying to compete And I don't think
it's not doing very good.
I don't think it's kind of like an ice skater at the Olympics going into the wall. It may not come back out after that.
Maybe. I do like peach flavored whiskeys, but
this is not.
I'll let you know what my thumb says later.
Okay. I'm still trying to cough that up. All right. We're now about to begin our primary segment, and we're going to explain why I am a Bing man instead of
because
a
you
Google.
worked at Microsoft?
No, this has nothing to do with me at Microsoft. I'm going to talk about a little bit of this history.
Okay.
So let's start our next segment now.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right. These are the 4 reasons why I switched from Google to Bing. A few years back, I switched from Google search to Bing, and there is no turning back. No longer do I Google something, I Bing it.
That doesn't even sound right.
Google? Well, come on, Google something.
I'm going to go Bing something.
Well, I Bing
are
it.
you?
I haven't looked back. The move from Google wasn't easy. Sometime in the late 1900s, I invested into the Google
in the late 1900s?
Oh, sorry. In the late 1990s.
Where are you coming?
Sorry. Sometime in the late 1990s, I essentially was a part of the Google search engine test group.
Okay.
And I was a big Google information person. I essentially was working at Microsoft and using Google as my primary browser of choice because it was Netscape first, right? So then it was Netscape was the first browser of choice. Then it was Internet Explorer.
You didn't like Ask Jeeves?
Well, Ask Jeeves, no, I didn't. So I had the Netscape type of deal. Now, essentially, I have moved away from Google, not because of Google's tracking, but something that Bing offers that's much better. And let me tell you what it is. Bing and Microsoft pay you to use their search engine.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's called Microsoft Reward
There's
Points.
really just one reason.
No, there's 4 reasons. I have 4 reasons here. Okay, so essentially, I can earn money by using Microsoft Rewards to search on Bing.
Okay.
Now, I can even search on Bing for Google and then click on Google and then open up a Google browser and search for something else if I wanted to.
You can Google on Microsoft Bing.
Yeah, so I could go to Microsoft Bing and I could say Google, and then I could click on Google and open it. But Microsoft Bing essentially has this item called Microsoft Rewards. Now, I am not cheap. I am frugal. Generally, I'll pass on a $12 beef slider for lunch.
You know what euphemism stands for, right?
So okay, for a $1.25 stick burger. Have you had one of those burgers?
I have.
They're great, aren't they?
No,
they're fantastic. Or I use restaurant coupons.
I guess if you define it as the best burger for $1,
yeah,
then maybe.
Yeah, no,
but
it's really good.
As if you relate it to other hamburgers, not so much.
Well, I also use restaurant coupon codes. So I use buy one, get one frees. And most of all, I love happy hours for cheap food.
Yeah.
After the show, what do we normally do?
We get happy hour stuff.
We do. I make us all order off because we have a show production post meeting and we talk about how the show goes. And I always make us order off the appetizer menu, don't I?
Well, yeah, usually.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Microsoft wants you to use their search engine and they will pay you about $5 a month to do so.
That's $5, huh?
Sign me up.
$5.
The concept behind Microsoft Rewards, formerly known as Bing Rewards, is simple. As you search, Microsoft gives you points, which you can spend on anything from Starbucks to a Microsoft Game Pass. If you have a Microsoft account, and if you don't, you can get one for free, or you can start earning 5 points per Bing search on your desktop PC for up to 150 points per day. In the same way, you can earn up to 100 points by searching on your mobile device. Don't worry if these numbers don't quite match up. Microsoft tends to value certain searches more than others, and you can even do additional items on the Bing search homepage to add to additional points. Like you can search for trivia questions, historic stuff, so you can earn more points as you go.
So the question is, you can only make $5 a day.
No, $5 a month.
$5 a month.
Yeah, not $5. It was $5 a day.
I mean, $5 a day, I'd be doing it.
I think you would be doing it. Everybody would be doing it, right?
$5 a month.
Yeah, $5 a month. Now, let me just tell you the reason number 2.
Okay, what's the reason?
Is because the search results are just as good as Google's.
How do you know that?
Well, I've compared them, and I've done a general analysis between searching for information. As a matter of fact, Microsoft has some additional features that they have, which is called the banner. So if I search for terms, let's say I searched for Rams football or Seahawks football or any football team, Chiefs football, New York Giants.
You're going to bring that back?
Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to search for any of these football areas. Essentially what happens is it takes up that white space on the right side of your browser. When you search for Bing, it just kind of comes across, and it'll essentially put the team information there. It'll talk about the coaches, and it'll put full details on your search on the right-hand side of your search bar.
What if I don't want anything?
Well, then if you don't want it, well, then I guess you're stuck with Google. But if you do have it, it has that. Now, number 3, Bing has image chops.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that essentially it has infinity scrolling. So if I search for a Bing picture, let's say I search for a picture of TechTime Radio, and I start going through, I don't have to go next page, next page, next page. As I go through my browser and I scroll up and down, it adds more and more images for me to look at.
Okay.
So I have that automatically taken care of, and I don't have to worry about it. Now, if I do want to search for animated GIFs, I'm going to have to start my search with Google and then go to the Google page because animated GIFs are not indexed by Microsoft's search algorithm.
Oh, that's a big problem.
Well, are you searching for a lot of animated GIFs?
No.
Okay, so
not me.
Okay. And reason number 4, because Bing shows more video. The best part of its video, and this will get you in trouble, we talked about this kind of on our second subject that we talked about, that when I search for videos, Bing does not put a filter on the videos, and it'll essentially search through all the videos with the words that I type up. So let's say I do bird. It could have Big Bird. It could have a bunch of different stuff for videos, for maybe Sesame Street, maybe birds flying, whereas Google tries to be so smart, and it will try to find a specific bird, and maybe I was trying to type in bird, and I wanted to see a Big Bird stuff. I would have to type in Big Bird to get that search result.
So a Boolean search
is much better for
Bing.
For Bing, yes, that is correct. And they search, which is very interesting. They search YouTube, and YouTube is a part of the Google network, right?
Right.
So Bing searches YouTube better than Google searches YouTube. I don't understand that. That just baffles me. But somehow they must not get along because YouTube was its own independent company, and they have some of their different rules. But clearly they haven't gotten on the same development path, because if I have to search for YouTube videos, I will use my Bing browser to search for it over any Google browser at all. So now you're saying, Nathan, I want to make the switch.
No.
No,
I haven't said that.
That's what you're saying. I hear that. Odie's saying that too, right, Odie? You're saying that. Odie's okay. Look, she's there.
She's just going to agree with you.
All right. So she's saying she's going to make a lifelong switch. All she has to do is do something very simple: is go and take a look at any search engine.
She's getting that.
Okay, any browser. Essentially, you can go in and all you got to do is type in Microsoft Rewards or Bing Rewards or Bing Search. You can do all of those, and essentially it will come on up and it'll let you sign up. Now, if you have a Google app and you wanted to do that from the Google browser, you just type it in and you can then switch it over. If you have your Microsoft Edge, then that's fine. If you have Firefox.
I be using Edge?
No, you shouldn't use Edge. We've talked about this. You should only use the Brave browser, but that's for another topic later. We'll talk about that again. We've talked about that before, but the Brave browser is what you should use.
I don't remember us talking about.
Yeah, we talked about earning cryptocurrency.
That's right.
You actually earn bat coins by using the Brave type of deal. All right. Well, that is our segment that we have there. Of course, everybody right now is going and clicking on, looking for the ability to do. And I'm not even getting paid by Microsoft to do this, but there you go. Microsoft Rewards.
Yes, you are getting paid.
Well, I'm not. No,
you're getting paid by Microsoft Rewards by using Bing.
No, there's no affiliate links or anything like that. You got to do it yourself. All right. Well, that ends our segment.
Okay.
Technology Insider. But when we return, we have This Week in Technology with a GPS type of connection. We'll see you after the break.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, do you ever feel tired, have a headache, or maybe a little bit under dehydrated?
Yeah, I get told that I need to hydrate more often.
Guess what, Mike? I have a solution for you.
What is it?
Hydronique Hydration. The electrolyte power drink packets are available for you now. Started in the midst of the pandemic, the founder of Hydronique Hydration, a frontline healthcare worker, started developing constant headaches. Do you know that most powdered drinks on the market have tons of sugar and caffeine, especially those Rockstar and Gatorade substitutes?
Yeah, like you drink.
So I'm going to need to change.
So what did the founder do?
Well, that's why he created Hydronique Hydration. Sugar-free, keto-friendly, plant-based, antioxidant-rich electrolyte powdered packets for daily use, containing all the essential vitamins and minerals with a refreshing taste. Their product contains elderberry, which has immune-boosting properties for supporting during cold and flu season. Hydronique Hydration electrolyte powder packets can also fit in your bag or suitcase when traveling. Your busy days in 2022 can change. Do you want a sugar-free, keto-friendly vitamin drink to give you hydration boosts? If so, give Hydronique Hydration a try. You can visit the website at www.hydroniquehydration. It's www.hydronique hydration.com. That's the word hydration and unique mashed together. Or you can search for Hydronique Hydration on Amazon.com or on their own website at hydroniquehydration.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right. Here's what we got. Our first modern GPS satellite was launched February 14th, 1989. The first of 24 Block 2 GPS satellites were launched on this date. Block 2 was the first modern GPS satellites that formed the modern GPS system we know today. The Global Positioning System, GPS, originally known as Navstar GPS, is a satellite-based radio navigation system owned by the United States government and is now operated by the United States Space Force.
The Space Force.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TV show?
Absolutely.
I'm sure
I want to join.
All right. The GPS does not require the user to transmit any data, and it operates independently of a telephonic or internet reception. This is technology
that can't find my phone.
That's right. This technology was originally created to provide critical positioning capabilities to the U.S. military, but is now used by civil and commercial users around the world. The United States government created the system, maintains and controls it, and makes it freely accessible to everyone with a GPS receiver.
What happens when, what's his name, gets his net up there?
What's that? When Putin?
No, not Putin.
What was that? Facebook?
Elon
Musk? Well,
Elon Musk.
I don't think he's going to take the GPS system offline. So that was your This Week in Technology. We're going to go and take a commercial break. When we come on back, we have our segment that we have been waiting for all day. This is Stories You Didn't Know. And I am going to agree with Brandon Heslop, who's on the streams right now, that says we should program all of the radios for the Toyota market to go to Kixie 880 so they can listen to TechTime Radio. We'll get working on that right after this commercial break.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our medium roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, do you ever feel tired, have a headache, or maybe a little bit under dehydrated?
Yeah, I get told that I need to hydrate more often.
Guess what, Mike? I have a solution for you.
What is it?
Hydronique Hydration. The electrolyte power drink packets are available for you now. Started in the midst of the pandemic, the founder of Hydronique Hydration, a frontline healthcare worker, started developing constant headaches. Do you know that most powdered drinks on the market have tons of sugar and caffeine, especially those Rockstar and Gatorade substitutes?
Yeah, like you drink.
So I'm going to need to change.
So what did the founder do?
Well, that's why he created Hydronique Hydration. Sugar-free, keto-friendly, plant-based, antioxidant-rich electrolyte powdered packets for daily use, containing all the essential vitamins and minerals with a refreshing taste. Their product contains elderberry, which has immune-boosting properties for supporting during cold and flu season. Hydronique Hydration electrolyte powder packets can also fit in your bag or suitcase when traveling. Your busy days in 2022 can change. Do you want a sugar-free, keto-friendly vitamin drink to give you hydration boosts? If so, give Hydronique Hydration a try. You can visit the website at www.hydroniquehydration. It's www.hydronique hydration.com. That's the word hydration and unique mashed together. Or you can search for Hydronique Hydration on Amazon.com or on their own website at hydroniquehydration.com.
Welcome back to TechTime Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. During the break, of course, we're tasting our whiskey. Our whiskey today is the Bird Dog Peach Whiskey. It is 80 proof, $22 a bottle. It is known as a Kentucky American whiskey. Now, this has a lush, fragrant salute to the sense of the golden amber infusion, vanilla and oak undertones rolling into a soft, familiar, rich bourbon, and a well-rounded experience for tasting. That is the information that is on the website. So Mark mumbles, of course.
Well-rounded?
So this is what Mark says. Reality is, this is heavily sweetened and heavily flavored. There could be some debate as to whether Bird Dog Peach is really even a whiskey. But those nuances are lost on us because we look at the the label, and if it says whiskey, it's on our show.
Uh-huh.
Because it says whiskey on the bottle, that means we have to subject ourselves to it. Mark's conclusion is, why buy this? No idea. Why make this? No idea. Because whiskey is big right now and someone's trying to make some money. This is essentially something that you would have for college students who like peach cough syrup. If you want something like this, buy a low whiskey and some peaches yourself. Squeeze the peaches into the whiskey, and without putting any processed sugar or flavoring, you can have the same taste and probably better. Mark says, skip this and buy a better whiskey.
Very nice. Well, we know Mark gave it a thumbs down.
Mark gave it a thumbs down, but are we going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to give it.
I'm kind of interested in you, though, because you're a big peach whiskey guy.
I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to give it.
All right. Well, okay. Well, welcome back to Tech Time. If you're listening and saying, is this a whiskey tasting show? That is correct. We are whiskey non-connoisseurs.
We are not connoisseurs of whiskey.
That either give a thumbs up or a thumbs down on a whiskey that we taste during our show.
I don't care if it has
great
subtle vanilla undertones.
Oh, you don't?
If it tastes good to me, it gets a thumbs up.
That's what we got. Okay, well, we're going to move right now on to our next segment, and this is one of our favorites. Let's start the segment now.
Stories you didn't know.
All right, on Stories You Didn't Know, we try to talk about technology stories weeks ahead of the mainstream media, or stories that as our production crew is meeting, as we do for each of these shows, we have a weekly production meeting, we start laughing about certain subjects and say, are you kidding me? Because we spend a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of time to prep for a radio show. People just think that this is easy time. There's a 2-hour production meeting that essentially has hours and hours of work to come into the production meeting where people pitch story ideas. We talk about what's going on, what we're going to be tasting for the whiskey, how we're going to gear the whole show up about current technology and upcoming topics that would be interesting to talk about. A lot of work. And this came across our desk, and yes, this is real. A Wonder Twins movie is coming to HBO Max.
No.
Modern comic book movie fans may not be familiar with the Wonder Twins.
The Wonder Twins.
You got Zane and Jaina. However, this could soon be changed in a major way. The Hollywood Reporter has broken the news that HBO Max is producing a new live-action Wonder Twins original movie. This is significant because they have been around for 45 years as they first were a part of the new Superhero Friends show. You know what? We have a clip.
The Super Friends.
Yes, the Super Friends.
I used to watch these on Saturday morning cartoons.
Absolutely. It was at 9 o'clock Saturday mornings with the Hall of Justice.
And I hated these when I was a kid.
You hated these characters?
I hated them.
Well, here's something to bring you back to that Saturday morning cartoon.
We've got to stay awake, Jaina. Wonder Twin powers activate!
Shape of octopus!
Form of an ice unicycle!
Oh my god.
Come on, Jaina. It's up to us to stop aliens.
So some type of aliens were invasion. So they essentially hit their fists together.
Yeah, I remember.
The guy could only turn into water. He could only turn into a water something. So essentially he made a water unicycle.
I know.
So he's got like the worst superhero gifts of all.
Yeah.
He can only turn into something form of a water.
Form of an ice cube. Well, I could use one for my drink.
You could use one for your drink. And then, of course, Jaina can turn into any animal.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So sometimes she turns into like a dinosaur.
I feel like this is along the lines of Cowboys and Dinosaurs, the movie.
Yeah.
And all these, they're just looking. I think we've just exhausted every other fine art medium that we can get. So we're gonna go for the dregs at the bottom.
So now the Wonder Twins also have a special pet that goes around.
That's Gleek.
It's a purple, not a standard looking monkey, a purple monkey by the name of Gleek. And Gleek just screws up everything. He doesn't.
That's right.
He essentially makes things worse for them, and so they always have to use
I don't
their
know why they have
superpowers.
to keep them around.
I don't know.
You know what a Gleek is?
What's a Gleek?
That's when you spit while you're talking.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or is it a geek with a big capital L?
I don't know.
All right, here we go. All right, well, that's story number one.
I certainly don't. I think
we need a Wonder Twins movie. I'm so excited about that. I'm signing up for HBO Max right now just so I can get a head start and sign up to that list. Speaking
Wonder
about
Twin powers activate.
That's right. Well, speaking of lists,
form of a no way.
I said we were going to be talking about two Martys. So this is story number one. Marty. Do you know by an individual by the name of Marty McFly?
Yes, everybody should know Marty McFly.
Okay, what did Marty McFly do?
He was in Back to the Future.
That's right, and so we're
going to talk about a DeLorean.
That is right. The DeLorean is officially back. During the Super Bowl, they essentially did a 15-second commercial before the Super Bowl aired that says that it is back and it's electric. And there's a sign-up list right now to get a DeLorean, and I signed up for it.
I am not surprised.
Did. The car made famous by Back to the Future returns this year. After 40 years since the release of the Back to the Future, the movie, the DeLorean remains cool as ever as it has its industrial design with the gull wing doors, as the doors come up from the sides, right? So they don't come
like Lamborghinis.
That's exactly like Lamborghinis. Now it's officially coming back, and it's going to be all electric. The teaser revealed shortly. Steel? Well, it's still stainless steel. Yep. Before the Super Bowl, the DeLorean Motor Company teased the return of the iconic car. The future was never promised. It was tweeted. Reimagine today. It's accompanied with a 15-second video. You can essentially go online to DeLorean.com. You can buy a bunch of T-shirts, or you can sign up to learn more information about the electrical car. Now, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. Huge fan. I went and saw Back to the Future 2 in the theaters. Back to the Future 1, I was a little too young to go and see it, so I had to watch it on VCR. Back to the Future 2 came out. Back to the Future 3. I sat at the very front row. Back to the Future first showing, I skipped school so I could have nosebleed sections and look straight up into Marty McFly, and I thought that was the best thing. It was such a childhood memory.
Really?
Yes. Now, my grandfather had a DeLorean.
Did he really?
And he promised it to me before he would pass, that he would hand that down to me. And
somehow I think that
it didn't quite happen. No, he married a younger lady, and
oh, that's right.
I did not quite get it. So I have now signed up to receive my electric one.
Oh my gosh!
Now speaking
is
of,
it going to be a full size?
Yes, it's not.
It's not going to be a little tiny car.
No, and I'm sure when I go 88 miles per hour in it, I hope it's still running, and I hope I don't do any time travel. If I did, though, I would steal a sports almanac.
You are traveling back to 1982 when you get in a DeLorean.
Well, it's probably all new features. I just want to put that flux capacitor in the back. That's what I need to have, those little areas that have come down here. All right, well, moving from one Marty to the next. We have a story that is taken right out of Ozark. Now, let's get a little reminder of this Marty. It's called Marty Bird, as we have a short clip taking money from a bank to start our next story.
Hi, good morning.
Mr. Bird.
Hi. What's this?
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
Can I get you a cup of coffee?
No, thank you. Am I under duress? No. What are you doing? No, stop that. There's been no kidnapping. I'm not wearing any wires. I have a business opportunity that requires cash.
All right, so let's talk about that. So what is Marty known for?
Money laundering.
The money laundering. So we have now come to the digital age of money laundering. All right, here's where we starts out. Essentially, British tax authorities said on Monday that they have made their first seizure of non-fungible tokens in a crackdown on suspected criminal activity to hide money.
Really?
So we've talked about non-fungible tokens, NFTs.
Yes.
These are these animated GIFs or these pictures or PDFs that are digital currency.
Right.
And the mob has now moved to transferring and putting money laundering in cryptocurrency, specifically targeting NFTs. Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs seized 3 NFTs after an investigation on an attempt to defraud the public.
Just 3?
They only did 3 NFTs. Well, because we're going to talk a little bit about why that's the case. Nick Sharp, Deputy Director of Economic Crimes at HMRC, said the seizure of the NFTs, which had no real value yet, served as a warning to anyone who thought that they could use crypto assets to hide money. We constantly adapting new technology to ensure we keep pace with how criminals and evaders look to conceal their assets, he said. NFTs are a form of crypto assets that use blockchains to record the ownership status of digital files such as images, videos, and other items while online and in games. So essentially what they have done is they have had somebody post an NFT. So they probably did a picture of a scribble. I mean, you can go and get a TechTime Radio NFT on our website. And you can bid on that. On OpenSea.io is the site that we posted our NFTs. But essentially, criminals are having other criminals create NFTs. Mm-hmm. They're then going into the open marketplace, and for maybe a monkey juggling apples, maybe it's Gleek, maybe it's a blue monkey juggling apples.
Yeah, that's deciding the NFT I want.
They're deciding to pay millions and millions of dollars for that NFT. So essentially, they can transfer the money to the other owner and do it all through digital currency transfer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like you take the same thing as like a baseball card. Back in the old days, you'd have a collectable baseball card.
So if I owe you money, wink, wink.
Yeah.
And I need a way to get it to you.
Okay, so I just killed somebody, and you owe me now money.
Wait a minute. We're not talking. Whoa. I just need to owe you some money.
Okay, just owe me some
money.
Okay, wink, wink. I got you.
So you create an NFT for me to buy from you.
That's correct.
And that's how we make the legitimate passing of that money.
That's right. So then all of a sudden I'll go and
wink, wink.
I'll make an ugly NFT and say I'm going to put this out here on OpenSea.io.
Actually, it'd be winky emoji.
There you go. And then you're going to all of a sudden decide that you want to buy that for me for $6 million so that you could have that little purple monkey juggling apples. And then you would own that also, and then I would get the millions of dollars.
Yeah, but that's not why I hired you.
No, that's not why you hired me for the monkey. So they are now transferring digital currency.
Well, I'm glad you're here to explain that to us.
Well, yeah, I find it very interesting. All right, well, that ends our segment. Next, when we return, we have Mike's Mesmerizing Moment brought to us by StoriCoffee. And the pick of the day, we'll see after the break from all of us at Tech Time. We hope you enjoy a little whiskey on the side during the commercial break.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
All right, welcome to Tech Time Radio. We're going to get right into our next segment, Mike's Mesmerizing Moment. This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
What was that?
All right, so tell us a little bit about why do people try to circumvent certain aspects with technology, like the money laundering thing we just talked about.
Well, that seems fairly obvious.
What's that?
They don't want to get in trouble.
They don't want to get in trouble?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we circumvent things all day long.
Okay.
You know, as human beings, we're kind of lazy.
Okay. So this is just kind of a lazy method to do it?
Well, again, a lot of times when we lie, we're doing it so we don't get in trouble. We're trying to avoid pain.
Okay.
And that's why we do a lot of the things we do is because we're trying to avoid painful situations. So if I'm going to launder some money, the consequence of me getting caught is what? I get in trouble.
Yeah.
I go to jail.
Yeah.
But I need to find a way. But if I get caught with that money and it's not laundered, what is it? Is it worse? Is there a worse pain involved? I don't know.
Well, speaking of pain, how about we go to our Bird Dog Peach Whiskey pick of the day?
So my mesmerizing moment wasn't that mesmerizing, huh?
Well, you know what? I was just thinking of pain, and I just want to absolutely make sure.
Are you going to give that a thumbs down?
Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible, painful. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's too much for me. I'm going to give it a thumbs down too.
So I think this is like our second thumbs down.
It is like cough syrup.
It is like cough syrup. All right, well, we're going to have to end the show here in just a little bit. Again, always remember the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list. for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTime Radio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week. And fantastic week. And fantastic week. And fantastic week. And fantastic